Hey, welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master Universe podcast. I'm your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince. Hopefully you're doing well. It's Wednesday, time for another podcast. Ask the DM at theevildm.com is my email address. Evildm.com is my website. Ko-fi.com/evilDM is where you can support me for as little as $2 a month, or you can make a tip donation. Each level has its own thing. The first level, the Initiate, you get access to a private podcast, and my eternal gratitude acolyte is the next level. You get a monthly zine newsletter, which you get adventure hooks and solo RPG information and stuff like that. Just stuff you can use in your campaign, and stuff that I'm going to be doing and putting out, you'll get a copy of as well at that level. And then at the top level, you get everything listed below, plus you get to give me some ideas for podcast and or video suggestions, and your stuff will go top priority because you're the top of the chain there. But that's the whole thing. People wanted me to go over that in a little more detail there. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's get into AD&D. Following up on thief abilities from the other day, we talked all about it from the player's handbook perspective, but now we're going to talk about it from the dungeon master side, which I consider kind of the errata or the justification. I don't know, the clarification on abilities so people can't. Considering this book was made after the player's handbook, this kind of gave us the clarifications on a lot of things when it came to running the game or running a thief, for example, for today. So some of the things that I talked about in the first one is justified in this thing here. So let's go into it. Page 19, Thief Abilities. The following additional explanations of thief abilities will help you to prevent abuse of these activities by thieves and other characters able to use the abilities in whole or in part in your campaign. So it kind of goes over it in a little more detail. Roll of the dice for any thief function must be kept absolutely secret so the thief or similar character does not know the result. So it really tells you that you should be rolling for the thief, not letting the thief roll. Though that's your decision how you want to handle that. Backstabbing. Opponents aware of a thief will not be able to negate the attack, will be able to negate the attack form. Certain creatures that listed here either negate, surprise, or have no definable back, thus negating this ability. So an undead, definitely, a mold, a slime, an I can't pronounce that. Otoyugs are one of things. Giant, really giant creatures like dragons and things like that. Unless you've been studying the anatomy of such things, you will not know how to backstab those things. And no matter how much you can't backstab a skeleton. So pickpockets. Failure allows additional attempts the victim might notice and allow the thief to operate anyway in order to track him or her back to the place he or she uses as headquarters. Up to 2 attempts at picking pocket be made during a round. Good. Opening locks. The act of picking the lock to be open can take from 1 to 10 rounds, depending on the complexity of the lock. As a rule, most locks will take about 1 to 4 rounds of time to pick, which I have no problem with. And that makes sense. If the lock is a little bit more complex, the thief will have to take more time to pick that lock. And it doesn't really take much more. I mean, a round is a round, but you know, it's up to you as a DM. If it's a more complex lock, I think it takes more time. Finding and removing traps. Use the time requirements for opening locks. Time counts for each function. Small or large traps can be found, but not magical or magically hidden traps. So we get a little more information on that. When it comes to finding and removing traps, generally, when it comes to the lever, not sorry, mm, I want to say when you step on a stone type trap, you should be able to find it, but you're not going to be able to remove those type of traps. You'd have to trigger them to get them to be removed. I will allow thieves to find them, but removing it's not going to be possible because those type of traps they can't remove. based on how it's set up. So your best bet is to find the trap and figure out how to trigger the trap so that nobody gets hurt, which is easy as finding it. So moving silently, silent movement is the same as a normal exploratory movement. 12 inches per round as the thief creeps up or croodles upon the area or the victim or whatever. Do not inform the thief that his or her dice score indicated a lack of success at this attempted stealth. If that is the case, so it's basically telling you to roll this and don't let the thief know if they actually made the silent check. He or she thinks he's moving silently, and the monster and/or the victim will inform the character of his or her misapprehensions soon enough. So they want you to be like, yeah, okay, you move silently, sure. And then all of a sudden the creature goes, "Rrr," and looks directly at you, and you're not moving silently anymore. Hiding in shadows, as plainly stated in the player's handbook, this is never possible under the direct observation. And it's just funny how people think that you can do it right like that. If the thief insists on trying, allow the attempt and throw the dice, but don't bother to read them, as the fool is as obvious as a coal pile in a ballroom. What? As the fool is as obvious as a coal pile in the world. So roll the dice, just don't even look at them. Look at the player and be like, yeah, you failed. Likewise, if a hidden thief attempts movement while under observation, the proverbial jig is up for the proverbial jig is up for him or her. Naturally, a creature closely pressed in melee is not likely to bother with looking for some thief not directly in the line of sight, but if vision would normally extend to the thief's area of activity, then observation rules apply. Under unobserved attempts to hide in shadows must likewise stand the hazard of the dice roll. A score greater than the required number shown that the character's thief ability is not on par with his or her intent. And although he or she thinks hiding has been successful, the creature looking in that direction will notice a suspicious outline, form, or whatever. Note also that the thief hiding in shadows is still subject to detection, just as if he was invisible. See invisibility detection or visibility table. Moving further along, we continue along with looking at here. Noise is pretty straightforward. The thief, just as any other character, must take the helmet off, which they did not say before, or other obstructed headgear in order to press his or her ear to the door surface in order to hear beyond. Notice it does not tell you anything about moving silently, which some DMs have misinterpreted, which is kind of funny. But there you go. Climbing walls. This is probably the most abused thief function, although hiding in shadows vies for distinction. The ability to climb walls is something which is acquired through training and practice, just as most other functions of the thief. The rate at which vertical and horizontal movement is possible depends upon the texture and other conditions of the surface. Like I was saying before, anything like a slippery surface, wall surface is best described as very smooth through cracks, non-slippery, condition of surface, and it gives a whole bunch of different things that you can do. Slightly slippery surface doubles chances of slipping and falling. Slippery surfaces make a chance of slipping and falling 10 times more likely. Thus, a slippery surface cannot be attempted successfully by any thief under 6th level, and even the 10th level thief has a 10% chance of round of slipping and falling. So they want you to check every round on some one of these things. I've done it by feet. 15 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, things like that. Just you have to have some like risk reward as far as climbing. So there has to be a chance that you might fall. Be certain to check each round of vertical or horizontal movements for the chance of slipping and falling. Surfaces which are inclined inwards move towards greater degrees of difficulty. A non-slippery one being treated as slightly slippery, and a slippery one being virtually unclimbable. Surfaces inclined away from the perpendicular and outward angle may be treated as either a better surface condition or a rough texture, if the degree of the incline is insufficient to make the climbing easier. So a lot of stuff to go over here that a lot of DMs just don't bother with. And I understand why, but these things have to be taken into account if you want a proper, climb wall type situation. Most dungeon walls will fall into the fairly rough to rough category. Some will be non slippery, but most will be slippery, slightly slippery due to the dampness and slime growth. Read languages. This ability assumes that the language is, in fact, one which the thief has encountered at some point in the past. Ancient and strange languages, those you as the DM have previously designated as such, are always totally unreadable. Readable. Even if the ability to read a language, the thief should be allowed only to get about that percentage of the meaning of that what is written as his or her percentage ability to read the tongue in the first place. The rest they will have to guess at languages which are relatively close to known by the thief, which will not incur such penalty. So now it's telling you that your percentage is kind of based on what you have run into in the past and the languages that are common for the area. So if it's an ancient or strange language, you probably might be able to decipher it, and then you only have a certain percentage of knowing certain percentage of the words, and you have to fill in the gaps based on other languages that you know. So I find that kind of interesting. Thieves and assassins setting traps. So simple mechanical traps can be set by thieves or assassins. The chance to do so successfully is equal to that of the chance shown for detecting such traps. So in other words, you can actually set traps, and that's always been something that a bunch of players have always asked me. Well, if I could find and remove traps, why can't I set them? Well, they've never actually said much about it other than here. So yeah, you can. The chance to do so is equal to that of the chance shown for detecting such traps. But in the case of assassins, operate completely different. We don't care about them right now. Simple traps are those which involve mechanical components which the character setting them has normal access to, such as an arrow, tripwires, blah, 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 blah. Special devices such as poison needles, scything blades, and other similar traps with special mechanical components will also be required in the efforts of one or more specialists, those required to manufacture the component parts. So you have to go get your parts, make the parts, things like that to set up this trap. So you got to have plenty of time to do that. Whenever a thief character desires to set a trap, require him or her to furnish you a simple drawing to illustrate how the trap will function. And that's not really a big ask. I mean, not everybody can draw, but people can generally draw a stick figure with how it wants to come out. So you shouldn't ask them to do like a master architect class going here. If the chances of success is if the chance to successfully set the trap results in failure, there is a chance of causing injury to the trap setter just as far as you had set the trap off. So if you want to set up your trap and you're rolling to set up your trap and you botch that, you might as well just hurt yourself because you just did. The chance is rolled for separately, and is the observe of the chance of successful set and is the reverse of it is the reverse of the chance for successfully setting the trap. The drawing of the trap will modify the chances of injury in case when failure results. Modification can be upwards or downwards according to the complexity and the danger of the trap. Note that even with a prepared mechanism for a poison needle, for example, the trap must be set, and failure can result in, you know what. Gloves and protective handwear cannot be worn when such and such traps, so too bad, so sad. Finally, failure on the first attempt to set a trap does not mean that the thief or assassin can never set the trap. Unlike other similar thief functions, repeated attempts are permissible. There. So that's what it says in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and it goes on more about using poisons and stuff like that, but that's more for assassins. So this is the thief abilities via the Dungeon Master book. Dungeon Master book is a book that obviously was created and put together after everything else, which I find very good in some cases because you can look into here if there's something that is kind of weirdly written in the player's handbook. And you come here, you can generally find something that will tell you more about it and have clarifications based on some feedback that they got or someone abusing something along the way. So there we have it. Thief abilities from the Dungeon Master Guide point of view with corrections. Hopefully you found this useful today. Tom J, I hope that helped you out a little bit as well. Thank you for emailing me. You can email me at askthedm@theevildm.com as well if you want to ask a question. With that said, I'm going to head out. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night, and God bless everybody. Keep those AD&D fires lit.